Today we're going to be doing a bit of a smell session. I have here several niche brands that I've had samples for. I have a discovery set or two, and generally I wanted to go through these fragrances and smell them with you. These are perfumes that I've really been meaning to try out and talk about, so I'm excited to showcase them in this video. But if this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I absolutely love fragrances. I talk about them here every single weekday. That means 5 videos a week, Monday through Friday. I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. And if you're interested in fragrance history, I actually have a podcast called The Fragrance Report. This podcast comes out with a new episode every single Wednesday on Spotify and on YouTube. And I talk about fragrance history on there primarily, but I also use that podcast as an opportunity to kind of take you through what I'm wearing week after week. So if you're ever curious about my weekly rotation, you can check out that podcast for that information. As many of you already know, I'm someone who is trying to be a bit more mindful, a little bit more intentional with what I buy. I'm also someone that tends to have a lot of samples and decants, and it's really hard to keep track of them all. So because of this, I decided to create a spreadsheet called the Fragrance Collection Log and Expense Tracker to solve this very issue. So this spreadsheet allows you to put in all the fragrances you have, whether they be in sample, decant, or full bottle form, and it allows you to kind of input the notes, or rather how these fragrances smell, and it also helps you track your spending. So whether you're someone who is trying to track your spending or you're just simply trying to track what's in your collection, this spreadsheet is an amazing solution. So it's available down below in my stand store for you to download. I also want to say that I'm filming this video in large part because of your feedback and suggestions. If you go on my YouTube channel page, you can click posts and it will show you all the posts I like to make on my channel. I like to interact with you guys at least once a day, so I will tell you what I'm posting that particular day, but I also love putting out polls because, as many of you know, I batch record most of my content for my YouTube channel on the weekends. So when I'm trying to get ideas or when I'm trying to figure out what to film, in many situations I will post a poll asking you what you want to see, and this really helps me out because it allows me to be a little bit more intentional with what I'm filming. So I asked you guys if you wanted to see me review niche fragrance samples, and it was one of the top voted videos. So if you're someone who wants to participate in my YouTube channel in the future, highly recommend you subscribe so you can be notified every single time a poll drops, because I get inspired at all hours of the day, so you kind of need to be notified when it does happen. Anyway, with that being said, wow, that was a long intro. Let's get into the video. So the first sample that I really want to talk about, I think I've mentioned this brand before. This brand is definitely on the wish list. This is Marc-Antoine Barrois. I might be mispronouncing this completely, but this particular fragrance is called Talia, and Talia is one of their classics, and this fragrance is on the wish list, I have to be honest with you, but this fragrance is a fragrance with top notes of lime blossom, jasmine, and broom, a mid of heliotrope, vetiver, and orange blossom, and then a base of ambrofix and Georgie wood. Yeah. So in the opening is this beautiful, rich, luscious white floral. And I think that's where the jasmine comes in. And then in the dry down, the fragrance opens up even more. It becomes brighter with the addition of this beautiful vetiver. It's stunning. It's a white floral. Yes, I love white florals, but it's not a white floral I have in my collection. It smells beautiful. It smells beautiful. And I sprayed it like twice and I could smell it. I could smell it. It's so strong. So I'll be buying this. This is going on the wish list. This has been on the wish list, but I just wanted to revisit it because I can't remember if I've mentioned this specific fragrance on the channel before, but yes, it's on the wish list. I want it. So there we go. We're off to a great start. So next up, I have 2 fragrances from Alloy Studio. This is a brand that was created by Bryson. He is a perfumer and a fragrance expert over on TikTok, and he is someone that I have met a few times, and he is absolutely lovely. So he sent me these 2 fragrances to try out, and I was really curious about Alloy Studio to begin with as a brand. They seem to be really popular online, and I was excited about trying these out, and these did not disappoint. I also kind of heard based off of his TikTok videos that he's coming out with a new fragrance, or maybe even one or two new fragrances soon. So I am so excited. But let's talk about what they have so far. So I have Silver Haze, and I also have Idyllic. So Idyllic? Yeah, Idyllic. So these are two fragrances they've already had available, and again, I was curious about smelling both of them. On first impression, both of them have like this like really signature kind of like sweetness. Like it's not strictly gourmand, but if you're someone who loves gourmands, you will like these. Like these are very juicy and fruity in the opening, but then the dry down is obviously completely different. So let's talk about Silver Haze first. This has notes of candied berries, dark cocoa, cannabis, and metallic spices. The dry down is absolutely beautiful. It's still like sweet. I definitely get where they're coming from with the candied berries. That is something that certainly comes through in this fragrance. Yeah, it's very apparent, especially in the opening. You know, like how candied berries can sometimes, like when you get them at the store, they're kind of like sour almost, but they have like this sugar crust around them. That's what I get in the opening. And then as it develops and dries down, it becomes like fruitier, juicier, and then it settles into like essentially kind of like that haziness, like that hazy sweetness. We're going to revisit this again once it has a chance to fully dry down, but let's talk a little bit more about Idyllic. So Idyllic has notes of juicy fruits, refreshing mint, crisp spices, boozy amber, and sweet tonka. This is inspired by the idea of being dazed in the heat of the setting sun. At least that's what it says here. And I actually really like this one. I think it's like, both of them I really, really like. This one is definitely my favorite out of the two, because I love how it combines like that fruitiness with that mintiness. So there is a bit of a balance to it. I would say this is like the kind of all year round fragrance that you would want. If you also want something to wear in the summer that's sweet, that's fruity, but not too sickly sweet, because of the mint that's in there, it acts as a really beautiful accent to make this fragrance like very versatile, in my opinion. Both of these fragrances are super concentrated. A little bit goes a long way, but they still have like that airiness to them that prevents them from being too sticky. They're light, they're gorgeous, they have like this amazing gourmand. These are really, really good. I love this. I really love this. Okay. So you have the crisp spices there, but it's nothing sharp. It's nothing sharp. It's nothing overt. It's blended very beautifully. These are both really beautifully blended fragrances. So I was going to revisit Silver Haze. Yeah, so now it's had a chance to like settle down a little bit. It's like a refreshing, sugary fragrance, which you do not see very often. It's hard to see a refreshing, sugary fragrance because that typically does not work. But I think the slightly metallic nature of this, that's what makes this a little bit more unusual. And like when I smell this, I picture in my head that like candied berry with like the sugary coating on the outside. But then this, probably because it's gold, this next one, Idyllic, is warmer. It's warmer, more refreshing. Yeah, if you like gourmand fragrances, I think you'd like both of these. Definitely get the Discovery set to try them out for yourself. Yeah, this is really good. This is beautiful. Yeah, amazing job on these. I love them. I think they're fantastic. I'm especially excited to see the new release. Very much looking forward to that one. So, Alloy Studio, these are two options from them. Definitely try them out if you're interested in the scent profile I just mentioned. These are some really great options. So next I have some fragrances from Justin Frederico over at Furico Parfam, and he actually gifted me 5 of these fragrances some time ago, and I wanted to showcase them for you here today, especially since I think a lot of these would really be beautiful for the summertime. So many of these are really refreshing and zesty, and they seem to me to be like quite comforting and nostalgic at the same time. I'll get into it in just a moment. So I have 5 fragrances. I have Silken Skin, Lemon Basil Fizz, which I love, and Posh Affair. I also have Parfum and Soleil. I know my pronunciation is completely off. And then Blooming Amber. So let's get into the individual fragrances. So Silken Skin is it's a fragrance that has notes of dry leather, passion fruit, and plum at the top, a mid of jasmine, geranium, and muguet, and then a base of patchouli, vetiver, oud, oak moss, benzoin, and musk. This is really interesting. This kind of reminds me, and I know this is like so specific, this reminds me of kind of like being in those like natural food stores where they have like that section for like the incense and like the soaps and things. And it feels super comforting because of that. This is like slightly incensey, but not too much. There's a bit of like sweetness coming from the white florals here. A bit of earthiness. I think that's where the oak moss, the vetiver, and the bit of oud comes in. This is very comforting. So Silken Skin, the dry leather is something that I definitely get, but it's not center stage at all. There's some fruitiness, but what I get with this is like that kind of like spicy, slightly soapy, comforting scent. So that's Silken Skin. Then we have Blooming Amber. So this has top notes of mandarin, orange, and then a mid of honey, lily of the valley, jasmine, lavender, and neroli, and then a base of amber, musk, vanilla, cashmere, patchouli, and green moss. This is sweet, honeyed white florals. Like literally, if you're looking for honey and flowers, this is it. The honey is so photorealistic here. It's definitely apparent. Yeah, you really, like if you love honey, this is the fragrance for you. But I wouldn't say the honey is overpowering in this fragrance. It's definitely not like sickly sweet like it can be in a lot of honey fragrances. This is not that, but you have to appreciate honey to like this one. And if you're in the market for a beautiful honey fragrance, like natural smelling artisanal honey, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So that's Blooming Amber. Then we have Parfum and Soleil. This is a fragrance with top notes of aldehydes, citrus, citronella, and java, a mid of lavender, ginger, and coriander, as well as clove leaf, cumin, and thyme, and then a base of ambrellatide, sandalwood, and vetiver. This reminds me again of like that natural food store. I know that's like such a weird description, but like that's what I think about when I think of this. And to me, that scent is really nostalgic. This is like bright, it's zesty. You get the spices there, but like I don't really get the spices as much like in the actual fragrances. I get something that's like citrusy and like brighter, but still has some depth to it. And I think that's where the sandalwood comes in, because the sandalwood is very apparent, especially in the dry down. So if you like sandalwood and you want something like maybe like slightly spiced, this is really good. So you know how sandalwood could sometimes come off as like kind of sweet and woody? This is sandalwood, but like slightly spiced and woody. This is really beautiful. So it's kind of like similar to Silken Skin. Both of them have like this interesting soapy quality to them. Silken Skin is a bit more floral. Parfum and Soleil in my opinion, is more focused on that sandalwood and spiciness factor. This next one is really interesting. Posh Affair, with top notes of aldehydes, rose, peach, a mid of cinnamon, jasmine, and gaiac, and then a base of ambrellatide, patchouli, labdanum, orris, vetiver, and oak moss. This is for those of you who like your gourmands, but you don't necessarily want something that's like specifically gourmand. You want something that's refreshing. You want something that's like going to have like those gourmand facets to it, but you also want something that's a little bit more traditionally perfume leaning. Peach is a really interesting fragrance note because I think that in so many ways peach can be like a little bit redundant sometimes, but what I like about this is that it's not redundant in the slightest. It's not a syrupy peach. It's more of like a brighter peach, made even more so by those aldehydes that really help this fragrance travel and have like this airy quality. This fragrance also has an orris note here, which to me translates into something that's kind of lipsticky. Orris is one of those fragrance notes that to me it pulls kind of smelling like lipstick in many of the fragrances that have Orris. And I get that, especially in the dry down. But this is like airy peach with that kind of like waxy lipsticky Orris. This is a really compelling one. Again, that's Posh Affair. The name really fits the fragrance actually. This kind of like reminds me of a woman putting on lipstick with the window open and like the fresh air coming in. That's what I get whenever I smell this. The next one, Lemon Basil Fizz. This smells delightful. So we have top notes of sun-kissed lemons, lemongrass, a mid of ginger, basil, bay leaf, nutmeg, and lavender, and then a base of red cedarwood, cypriol, and green moss. This smells so much like a lemon ginger herbal tea. I love this. This is beautiful. Yeah, the lemon is so prominent in this fragrance. It really like comes through the entirety of this perfume. Right when I initially sprayed it on the strip, it smelled definitely like the lemon, and even in the dry down, I get like the rindy, like the lemon zest. I get the lemon skin. This is a gorgeous lemon fragrance. Like if you're looking for a lemon fragrance and you don't want like that kind of like syrupy, sweet, gourmand lemon custard scent, you want something that's just a refreshing lemon, this is really beautiful. Again, you have like that bit of spiciness. You have to be okay with like a slight hint of an aromatic spice with this perfume. But this is like a beautiful lemon zest fragrance too. I love this. As you can tell, it's my favorite. I would say this I absolutely love with Posh Affair. So yes, definitely a lot of interesting fragrances from Furico Parfam. They do have an online option available if you want to buy their fragrances off of Perfumology. They also have a discovery set there, and they do have a brick and mortar store located in Pennsylvania, but definitely some interesting fragrances. I would highly recommend you check out this brand. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed this and found it interesting. Definitely let me know if you want to see more videos like these where I just go through a bunch of samples and give you my reviews, give you my feedback, my opinions on these fragrances. I'd love to do more of these since I have so many samples to get through. But yes, let me know if you want to see more videos like these. Thank you for watching till the end, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.